Coming. Thank you, Leon Sutton, for sponsoring breakfast this morning. Thank you. Anybody who wants to sponsor breakfast, let me know. We will not turn you away. Interesting thought. The commentators grapple with the fact, if you look at Chumash in previous parshas, you find that when Yishmael was acting terribly, Sarah throws him out of the house. She banishes him, and with God's permission. So the commentator asked the question, Esau was probably worse than Yishmael. He would have been a more terrible influence on Yitzchak. Why didn't Rivka and Yitzchak banish him from the house? We find a precedent for it. So the Tzivra of Volozhin says, it goes back to the time when Rivka first met Yitzchak. And by the way, the various midrashim, why did she fall down when she saw Yitzchak? One medrash was that he was so handsome. Another medrash is she got a vision that she was going to have a Russia as a son. One of her sons would be a Russia. She got a vision. However, the Tzivra of Volozhin says the reason why she fell down, she saw Yitzchak was engaged in prayer. He had an angelic presence. And that angelic presence made her fall down. In fact, according to the Tzivra and other commentators, that complicated her relation with Yitzchak. She couldn't relate to Yitzchak. She couldn't tell him and communicate with him so thoroughly. You notice that Rivka keeps things to herself. She gets, for example, she goes to the yeshiva Shem V'Aver and she gets this prophetic announcement that she has twins. She didn't tell Yitzchak about it. She keeps a lot from Yitzchak. That's because of that relation, for that one moment in time that defined their relation. That's according to the Tzivra of Volozhin. However, Rabbi Yosef Sorotzkin has a different answer, which I think is very appropriate. He says, look what happened with Yishmael. Yishmael wasn't Sarah's child. It wasn't her biological child. It was Hagar's child. Esau was her child. And a mother doesn't give up on her child. No matter how bad it is, you're still hoping that you're able to convince him. Rashi says something fascinating. He says that when they were growing up, they were the same. There was no difference between Yitzchak and Esau. It's only when they turned 13 that the things changed. However, Yaakov Kamenetsky said it was actually 15. Because if you do the math, now he said at 13 the seed started to change, but at 15 Esau became really bad. How does he know it's 15? Because we know Avram was 100 years old when he fathered Yitzchak. Okay? And Yitzchak was barren. We got married at 40. It took his time to get married. He got married at 40 years of age. And for 20 years, Rivka was barren. So basically, Avram was 160 years old when the twins were born. And when did Avram died? 175, which means from 160 to 175 is 15 years. So on that day, when Esau really changed and became terrible, and according to Chazal, he did terrible deeds on the day of Avram's funeral, he was 15 years old. So according to this, since they were 15 years old, Yitzchak wasn't as impressionable anymore. The formative years were already done, so therefore Esau didn't present much of a threat to change him, the dynamics of who he was, because he was 15 years of age. Three different thoughts as to why Rivka did not banish Esau from her house. Have a wonderful day.